Hi there, I'm Construction Gamer and this is Derail Valley Overhauled. The developers Alt Future have kindly provided me with a key to take a look at the game because, as the name suggests, the game has been overhauled with some new features, including interactive chain couplers. There's a revamped career mode, and there are, I think what the developers describe it as, sensitive hazmat cargo, which translates roughly to exploding trains. Now, I'm not sure if that was in the base game, but I've tested it out and trains definitely do explode in this game if you're not careful. So that is just one of the things. That's if you're carrying like diesel. Well, I tried it. I didn't intend to, but I derailed a train that I was pulling some diesel tanks, and they did blow up all over the place. Yeah, so there are some loads of new features. It says there's a new locomotive. Now, it doesn't actually say which one is new. I think in the base game there was a shunter. I'm not sure if this steam locomotive's new actually. And as far as I can work out, there's this diesel electric locomotive as well. It's kind of US style locomotive. So yeah, that's the overhauled Derail Valley game, and it's been unusual for me because I usually do tycoon and city building games like City Skylines and Transport Fever, but I thought I would try and do something a little bit different for this. So we've got this diesel locomotive here. Now, I couldn't find an instruction manual for it. Usually there are plenty of manuals on this for different things, so you've got schematics there. I'm just pressing the keys on the top, but I couldn't find a manual for this particular diesel locomotive. So I thought what I'd do to begin with is just show you how to start this, just in case you don't know how to start it, because it's a bit unusual, let's just say. So this is fully VR ready, and it is geared up towards using VR, but I'm using the keyboard and mouse on this. So if I want to get into the train, it says press F to enter, and you can actually go inside there. Now, what you need to do first of all for this actually particular locomotive is, I'm going to use the scroll wheel, but I think you can't use the left button. Right, okay, so we've got this door here on the back, and we're going to scroll down with the scroll wheel on the mouse if we're using the mouse and keyboard. And then we've got this breaker here. We're going to move these three up first, and then this main breaker up until you get the green light. You can close that, but it doesn't really matter. And then the next thing, it took me ages. I was scroll wheeling on everything just to see. We can even open the windows, look, with the mouse wheel as well, and this door opens, and I was doing this on everything. I was thinking there's got to be something somewhere, and that door opens as well. And then you come out here and there's two doors, and in here there is an on button, and it took me about 10 or 15 minutes of doing that to figure out this. So I thought that would be a handy tip if you're starting on this game, and you just scroll up on the mouse wheel and you get that. There's a bit of a throttle here if you just want to rev the engine, and then just shut that door like that. So yeah, that is the train, the locomotive rather. Let's get the terminology right. This is a locomotive because it hasn't got any carriages on it yet, or wagons. One thing to know, I'm just going to quickly do this, and I'm not sure if this is a bug or if it's supposed to do this. I suppose it does make a certain amount of sense if you come off the train, but if you've put all these on and then you come down this side thing here and you fall off and you can't jump back up, so what you do is you look at the cab, you press enter, or F rather, and it shuts that and closes all your breakers, which is a bit annoying. So make sure you don't fall off. No, you've got to put all three breakers up before you put the main breaker up. Once the engine's started, it doesn't matter if you fall off the train, but if you've only just done the breakers, then it is a bit annoying. So we can start the engine and you can fall off, and then if you come back on, the engine will actually stay on, but you'll notice that door just shuts by itself. And to turn the train off, there is three options. You can either go back out into those doors there and scroll down on the mouse wheel, or there's an emergency engine stop here, the big red button. Let's crouch down a little bit, so there's an emergency button there, or you just yank on this breaker to turn everything off. So there we are, that's how you start the train if you're wondering, especially if you're going to get this game because it's been overhauled and it is pretty cool. Then you will want to know how to start this locomotive. I have actually got a save file from the developers as well, which gives me access to everything and does give me unlimited money, but I think early on in the game you would only have access to the little shunter. Is there one anywhere? No, I can't see one, but there is a little shunter for the early jobs, and you can just walk through doors. You can either open them, which is a bit more realistic, or you can just walk through them. You can even walk through this table as well for access. There is another cool button that you can feature as well, and I wondered what it was to begin with. You can do a bit of this, bit of sidestepping. I thought, yeah, that's great. And then if you actually come up to the side of the train here and then press E, then it's like you're poking your head out the train window, which actually, as it turns out, is incredibly helpful. And you can even do it if you're stood here. You can just kind of lean over and look out that window if you want a bit more of a realistic sort of in-depth feel to your game. So yeah, I am using the W, A, S and D keys to move around. I am left-handed, so it is a bit, actually, it's not ideal for left-handed people. I'm going to admit that straight away, using the W, A, S and D, but all your keys, like the tab to bring up different things and close different things, is on the tab button. If we get the map up, you got the Alt button there, which allow, if you bring up the map, press Alt, you can actually just look around the map and click on the buttons there. So that's on the left Alt button. Alt GR doesn't work, so yeah, it is geared up towards right-handed people. I could, I guess, just rebind the keys, but there's a lot of functionality in a small amount of space. So enough of me talking about buttons anyway. I think we're going to drive this locomotive out of this area. We're in the harbour and town at the minute, and I'm going to get this onto this turntable, and then I'm going to show you how to get a job. So to do this, you can use the mouse scroll, but it just, as soon as you release it, it does release the wheel. So what you want to do is just left click, and you can hold it like that. Unfortunately, when you're doing that, you can't really see, so it helps if you come back a little bit perhaps. It is a little bit tricky, but it does actually make a clicking sound sometimes. There we go, it makes a clicking sound when it's in place, so you do actually know that it's in place. So we can go back into this locomotive. The F button is really useful for this game, actually. It really does help speed up the process of moving around, especially when you're trying to find the different roads that you need to be on. So what we need to do, we're going to move this forward. This is the forward direction. We're going to move the reverser into the forward position. We've got the dynamic train, and what brakes that? That is the independent brake. And then we're just going to give it a little bit of throttle. We haven't got any weight on us, so it will start to move pretty rapidly. And we're just gonna coast onto there like that, and then we're going to start to activate the independent brake. Are we on? No, we're not. So let's just a little bit more. Now, as the name suggests, Derail Valley, this game could potentially involve a lot of derailment. It seems to me that this game is geared up towards wanting you to derail, so it is quite a skillful game to play. I'm not sure other train simulation games are quite as similar as this when it comes to needing so much skill. I know I have played Train Simulator in the past, things like that, but I haven't really played them that much, to be honest. So this is something a little bit different to me, and it really is a hands-on game. You really do have to be careful, especially when we start going up into the mountains and into the valleys, because you've got lots of uphill, downhills and curves and things like that. So it really is a game of skill, even though it is a simulation. So that's on that track there. We're going to jump back in the cab, and we're going to release the independent, a little bit of gas, look out the window until we've gone onto that road there, and then I will just take a look there are buildings in each town or each location in which you actually get jobs and things like that. So we will take a look at that in a minute. Just coming onto here, just release the throttle, and that's in the wrong direction, never mind. And we're just going to do a little bit of brake there. Let's just make sure we're clear of that. Now I'm pretty sure in real life, if you come over say we just came from that direction there, where's the run button? We've just come from this direction, we've come over this switch. Now I'm pretty sure in real life, if we hadn't, actually which direction did we come from? No, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, let's little niggle to begin with. We're going to bring up this, which I've bound to number 1. You can actually change them if you hold the shift key. The shift key? No, the tab key. If you tab and then hold it, you can actually move these around. You can see there you've either got your numbers or you can use your tab key like that. Or you can get your different items like that. And what we have is we have a comms radio, and I've already picked this up. This will be in the white building, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but you switch it to that like that. But let's say the switch was like that anyway, and you came from this road which we just come down, this rail. You can still come down that, but I don't think that's 100% realistic. But yeah, you can. If you're coming from this direction, let's just say, let's keep it simple. If you're coming from this direction, it doesn't matter which way this switch is in place. You can just drive straight down, which I wouldn't say is completely realistic, to be honest, but it's not the end of the world. It's just something I would just wanted to point out, because if you are coming this way and you're thinking, oh, the points aren't, thinking like me and you're thinking the points aren't in the right direction, it doesn't matter if they're not actually on this particular, switched into this direction. So it's just one thing. You can only really see these switches from this direction, and you get that board and you left click on that and it shows you which direction they're going in. I just want to go round that way, I think, so we're going to do that. That's what we're going to do. Let's get rid of that. So if you press, I've got this bound to number 1. If you press 1, it brings it up. Press 1 again, it gets rid of it. If you press 1 and then tab, that gets rid of it as well. So you can see what I mean about lots of functionality being close to the WAS and D keys. So what we're going to do, we need to release the independence, we need to put the reverser into reverse, and then we're going to go forward like that. And then this is where the Q and E buttons on the WASD next to come in handy. And then if you right click with your mouse at the same time, you can actually zoom in, and all of these functions really are helpful later. Well, I wouldn't say later on in the game, I would just say in the game, full stop. Just allows you to see the switches and things, just make sure they're all in the right directions before you come up to them. And I think we want to slow down because we're only in a marshalling yard here. We are going a little bit fast. Just want to come up to about there, and then I'm just going to chuck the independent on. Now, as far as I can make out, there is no kind of local map. There is a map, and that's all you get. You get the different towns, you got all the different areas, oil wells, steel mills, things like that. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the harbour and the town. You can, if you, like I said, if you press the Alt key, have a look around the map, and you can click on the little yellow buttons, or you can, I think you can even click on, in some circumstances, there is a train. I think the last train that we were on, so might be a little. You can't really see it too well, but that is, you can't zoom in, which is a bit annoying, and I don't think there's any local maps. So what I've just been doing is just using the F key just to explore the different map, or the different particular areas. So just tabbing F, and just tabbing F, just pressing F. That's what I'm doing. Where is the building? So there it is. We've got this building here. Is it? No, it's not. Okay, so we've got the roundhouse thing there. Let's go over here a bit. I thought I got to grips with this particular town, but clearly not. There's a shunter there. There's a couple of them lying around. There we go. There's a little white building. which is the office in which you get your first jobs. I think, actually I'm not sure where you'll be from the get-go, but you'll come into here anyway, and depending on which license you've got, you will be able to take some of these jobs. Now I think I have some debt, do I? Now I also have infinite money. How much do I owe? So let's go to confirm. Your copay. So I owe some money, so I'm going to get my wallet, chuck some money in there, chuck some money in there, maybe in somewhere. Do I owe any money? No, obviously not. Right, okay, so one of the things, if you owe money for, let's say, I'll show you this in a little bit more detail actually. What I will do, yeah, let's, can I jump into this? No, we'll go back, show people what you're actually doing in the first place. Now I've lost the building again. Right, yeah, this, just wanted to show you this radio because it is really a really important part of the game. But before we do that, if you need to clear a train or a locomotive or re-rail one, you can do it with this radio, but you'll build up a debt which you have to repay with your wallet, which you have money in, hopefully, if you've done a few jobs, and it will come up here. Basically it will show you any debts that you have left to pay. Please select fees or licenses. So put that down. Fees. Do I have any fees to pay? Alright, okay, so press cancel. Fees. Confirm. Right, so I've got fees to pay, so confirm, and then you've got to shove some money in here to pay that off, and then confirm. I think you must have to do it one by one. Chuck money in there. You can, yeah, whatever. Right, and one last fee to pay. Chuck some money in there. Yeah, whatever. Just pay the fee, like so. Right, so we've paid off all our debts now, and now we can take a job. Some jobs it will not allow you to take if you have any debts accrued, and I will show you a little bit more how you accrue debt. So what do we want to do? I want to do something heavy. What's this? Shunting, unload. That's the machine factory in town. We're in the harbour in town. I want a nice hefty train. What's this? That's the oil well. Get rid of that. Deliver empty Sun Omni containers. Mass, only 180 tons. Don't want that. Want something a bit hefty. Can't really see anything there. That's 160 tons. Harbour in town, 462 tons. That's a bit more like it. So deliver shipment of tooling, shipment of electronics. Yeah. Chemicals as well, great, to the machine factory and town. Time bonus if you do it in under 40 minutes, which is tricky. And train value, total mass, and then the length, and then down bottom left in that big green box is how much you actually get for it. So if you've got this job, if we had any debts and tried to put the jobs into the job validator, we wouldn't get very far. But we've paid off our debts, so this job comes out. And we have the freight hull job. This is our, basically shows you exactly what we need to do, shows you what train we need to pick up or what consist and where it needs to go. So there we are, there's the jobs. Right, so but I just wanted to show you before we do that job, we'll come back over to this little shunter here. And let's just say, for example, it has derailed. What we can do, if we bring the radio up, the radio used for the switches and things, you can actually re-rail vehicles. So if this vehicle was derailed, you can click on it and then move it back onto the rail. So if you do derail a train just ever so slightly, it's not the end of the world, but it will cost you money, and then you'll start to accrue debt. You can also clear a vehicle. That will cost you money as well. say you've completely destroyed the vehicle and it's unusable, you can actually clear it. And you can see there it says remove LO64 for $6,000, and then that will add to your debt. Hopefully I've explained that clearly enough. And then we got on this, we've got a crew vehicle. I was like, what the heck does that mean? Can we automate the vehicles? No, it just means you get that basically, which you can jump on. And if we use the scroll up, so on each, yeah, it is a bit tricky, but you can actually, I think, oh, we're going, let's just see, can you use the, no, you can't left click, but you can use the mouse wheel. It does take a bit of practice getting used to it, but I think when the handle's going up, that's when you scroll up, basically. There we are, that's how we pick up speed like that. I guess this will be useful if you do derail and completely blow up your train. And that's quickly, oh, there we are. That's interesting. That's when I was saying, having a little rant before about this switch, it actually does force the switch open, which I don't think is very realistic. I wouldn't think that happens in real life. You wouldn't force open or closed a switch, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's just a little thing. Where is now? There's the question. Where's the train, or the locomotive rather? So it's in that direction. Where are we going? So we want to bring up our job. It's defaulted to number 3. And we go, right, so harbour and town, great, but harbour and town is absolutely enormous. We've got a chemical plant over there, we've got the actual harbour, and then we've got some marshalling area there as well. We want the page 2, maybe page 1, D60 rather. So we're going to have to, the only way I can find of actually finding which road you need to be on is to actually just run around the map, basically. It would be handy. There is a schematic station maps which shows you a nice schematic of each of the marshalling areas, but it doesn't actually give you a map of where these are. But what did I say we wanted? So we want D. So harbour and town, B, C, D. But it doesn't actually show us where that is, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to run around a little bit and see if we can find it. What's this? What's this? No, gone too far. I think that G. So that's G. Okay. G. What are you? You're a train station, passenger station. So you're not going to be any use. We've got some tractors and stuff over here. Oh, tractors. Okie dokie. And this is E. Good. So that's E. Right. Let's see if we can just run around the place. Am I being stupid? I don't know. Am I really being that daft? It's couple at the station at the following track. HB Harbour. Yeah. So I think maybe over here. What are these called? We've got excavators as well. Ooh. Cool. Right. What are you? What are you? You're D. Good. Right. So we want D6 5S. G chucks things on the ground, which you can do often. I think it might be this road here, so let's close that, get rid of that. 6-0. Right, go away. Right, what we need to do now is make sure all of our switches are in the right direction. So we want this particular track, and we want to make sure that the switches are all in the correct position. Pressing shift to run, but I'd say it is quicker if you use the F button. Then we need to be on switch, and obviously that wants to be over to that direction. And then next set of points, that direction. Where's my locomotive? I think it's over there somewhere, but that's fine. That's fine. And then that one, hopefully it should be a straightforward job just to put that down. Go and kind of go cab. Should be a straightforward job just to kind of go into there. Obviously we need to be reverser in, reverse, independent off. My engine's turned itself off, so switch on, and then come into here, this little cabinet, scroll down and scroll up. Let's turn that on, and we're going to give it a bit of gas, like so. Taking things nice and steadily, and hopefully we will be on the right track, if you excuse the pun. And we are actually on the right going the right sort of direction. And this is where the Q and E, so we're pressing E and it's like we're poking our head out of the window. I think we're going a little bit too fast though. It does really keep you on your toes. So this is where you could actually, if you were driving slow enough, change the points on the go. This is where the right click button really on the mouse helps, because you can zoom in and you can, once you're on the train, you can actually change these points like that. But you do have to go in slow enough, and you do have to know which direction you want to go into. So it does, I just generally make sure we've got all the points in the right sort of direction. I can even, if you press E and then the right click button on the mouse, you can just zoom in a little bit, but I just think we need to start applying the independence a little bit. Maybe not. Release that. Just, we want to coast really slowly into the consist that we want to pick up. No, just not sure. We're just going to apply the brakes. Are we on the... That's one thing I didn't check actually. I was just assuming that these were... Well, yeah, the road is right, or the track is, but what you also need to check is your code. So at the bottom of each of those squares represents a wagon, and we want CF 324, which is there, 324, which is fine. And you just want to double check that you are actually picking up the right train, the right carriages. And the next thing we want, where are we going to? We are going to the machine, factory and town. So if we bring up the map, the machine, factory and town, where's that? Towards the top left there. So what we want to do actually is see if, can I come out? So yeah, you just want to plot your course. So if I press Alt and just have a quick look, I want to make sure we're on the front of the train to begin with, because that really helps with visibility. You really don't want to be on the back. So we want to make sure, we could run round if this wasn't, but just going to trace a little bit of a route, and you can see there I want to go that way. No, I don't. As I come out of here, I want to be going left to that switch, and then up and round, and then round and left again. It is important because there are some stations like this good factory and town. You might think to go up this piece of track here, but if you did that, you just go up and above the machine factory in town. You actually want to be on this track, and then you to make a hard right into the machine factory in town. So it does help to plan your route, and it does help to figure out if you actually are going to be on the front of the actual consist, which we are, which is good. So get rid of that, and we are still quite far away from the containers. Take away, well, the train Give it a little tiny bit of gas. You don't really need to do too much. Maybe a little blip just to get us moving, and then off. Should just be able to coast into these. Maybe a little bit more. Let's move things on a little bit. Maybe a little bit more then, and then just start to release. Zoom into that a little bit, and I think we just want a little dab of independent, maybe a little bit more, and full. Just check. Don't think we're quite there. I know we do have to give it a little shove up against those buffers, so we're going to release the independent, give it a little bit of a shove like that, and then we've come to a complete stop. So we're going to apply the independent and come over here. And this is where the interactive chain linkage and stuff comes in. This is like you can use VR basically. So I'm using the left click and hold to pick up this chain, and then you're going to hook it over there. But this is where the VR bit comes in, because you can start to do stuff like this with the VR, which is pretty cool. And then you got these hoses. You're going to link those together, and you're going to open these valves, which are for the air brake. And down, open like that. I think usually all of the valves are down on each of the carriages. Are they? Wagons? Yeah, they are, so that's fine. That just provides air through the system to each of the individual wagons. So now we've got a nice big 400 ton consist on the train. We are going to need a little bit more power to get things moving. We want the reverser in forward. Give it possibly quite a little bit of throttle there, like so. I have to say the engine sounds are pretty good on this. They don't sometimes you find with engine noises they can get a little bit monotonous, but these are actually pretty good, genuine sounding rail engine noises. Give it a little bit more throttle, and then once we've kind of broken free, as you would, we've overcome the initial friction, I think is the correct term, is it? Possibly. And we've got the thing moving, then we can almost coast, and I think we want to be coasting around here anyway. It's, like I said, just a marshalling yard, so you don't want to be going too fast, and we're going over points as well, so again there's another derailment hazard straight away. So there we are, we've picked up a train anyway. I think we can pick this up in the next episode. I think I've gone on for long enough. I've showed you the basics of this train anyway, or this locomotive rather, making sure we get the right terminology. Locomotive, and we've picked up this train, and I think we will pick up where we left off in the next episode and get this delivered to the to wherever it is we're going. Where is it we're going? Machine factory and town. So I'm going to leave it there for today and say until next time, bye bye.